Hello, everyone. Welcome to one of the very last on-air sessions, the online format of the Swiss AI Weeks that happened during the whole September and Wildcard Media. Today, we'll hear from Dalith Steiger and Andy Fitze from SwissCognitive, the AI ecosystem globally and locally, investments in AI startups. You will have the possibility to ask questions in the chat, please. They will be answered in the Q&A. The session will be streamed on YouTube. And that's already it from my side, from the Swiss AI Weeks. I hand over to Dalith and Andy for the next 45 minutes. Guys, the stage is yours.
Thanks a lot, and welcome also from our side to the Swiss AI Week session about the AI ecosystem globally and locally, investments in AI startups. And whoever out there knows us knows that our heart is actually beating for AI. What can we do with it? Where are the advantages, the benefits, especially for the human being? Always looking from the human-centric point of view. So I'm Dalith, and Andy, my co-founder. We will go through this topic. Andy will read you or talk you through our presentation. We're going to start with the latest development around AI. Then we would love to share with you our SwissCognitive Invest AI principle. Then looking at the global AI race. And at the end, we will see about why Switzerland matters that much and what it means for the AI world in 2030. So please share your questions in the chat. We will moderate as good as we can and take them at the end of the presentation. And with that, Andy, I would like to hand over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you all here. We're already 34. That's cool. So, in the 5 topics, I deep dive already with the first slide here from Michael Wade this morning. So, probably 2 or 3 hours old. Will consulting firms survive AI? I mean, this is really the question. And you can see here everything turns upside down. So, may everyone goes with the mic on mute so we have a good understanding of my voice. Thanks. So, leading from this question, it comes to my first interaction with you guys. May you pick your mobile if you're capable to do so. And then, or going on your mobile if you're listening on mobile to slido.com, and then the hashtag and the number. And please join our first poll just to see which job will change the most in the next 3 years to AI. So I know this is a guessing point, but let's join a bit here. Let's see, interacting, everyone. 4 participants. Okay. Yeah. Consultants very high up. So I already gave her intro. Medical doctor, human resources, may some other answers. Yeah, we have answers also in the chat. Legal consultants. Yeah. So 1, 2 more. Let's see where we end. So I gave already a heads up. There is no right and wrong about consultant. So, but beside consultant, we see a lot of knowledge worker in the row here, and software developer, banker. We don't know. But for sure there will be a lot of change. And I talk about change and not loss of job. So there will be different jobs, skill set for the different bankers and sales and legal and so on. So let's move on. You can further poll. So first I would like to deep dive in the Stanford University report. What a great report, come out every April around. and I just deep dive in a couple of topics, what is really matters, also if it comes to investment. So here are the 6 topics. So first in all, AI goes mainstream. We see 6 FDA-approved AI medical devices till 2015. Last year already 223. And there's a rumor it's can just blowing up the FDA approval with AI medicine devices by probably 10,000 next year or so. So there's a mainstreaming AI in medical devices. So very cool. Next one, business moments in investment. You see here there's a huge gap between investments sizing, so 12 times bigger than China, US, and 24 times bigger than UK is US. So you see a really big gap. So it doesn't mean that it's by quality anything, but you see where the most money goes. And there also maybe the infrastructure is building up. We're coming to this topic. And next is already the result of this invest. So by any means, so the most relevant LLM models comes from US. China has a few. Europe has more or less nothing. I hope so. It's already changing in 2025 a bit, but relevant models comes really from US right now. The next, AI becomes cheaper and greener. That is something that was obvious that is coming around the corner. So comparing to GDP 3.5 level, we are already cheaper in a factor of 280 times cheaper in only 2 years. I mean, we delivered a pizza with a Lamborghini in 2022, comparing how we invested in one single prompt. So it is getting better. That depends on the hardware cost, and also in energy efficiency, and also how models treat the usage of energy. So the second last here is computer science education. Means that's the basic rules of how we fill up the talent pool in the different regions. So as you can see, K-12 means the first 12 years in school. So we have already 2/3 of all countries around the globe has established a 12-year program in computer science. It means that is double the size of 5 years ago. And lastly here, we do have some Nobel Prize winners that we should call more or less AI already for learning and protein folding works and so on. So there is a lot of upcoming how we treat the new result if it comes to AI Nobel Prizes. So very funny. So that's your AI Stanford report. Go into the internet, you will see more details there. So next, out of this, we produced a couple of principles how you should invest in AI, or what is your principle that you would like to emphasize if it comes to working with AI or investing in AI. I just go through very quickly because you have all the handout later on. So first and foremost, if AI is transversal, so for everyone, for all the industry, for all the region, for everything, if it's so, then it's infrastructure. If it's infrastructure, then it's huge investment because it's not short term, it's long term, it's even not midterm. And if it's investments, then think big. So as easy as that, you have to think big. And that also leads to one of the next principle, but this is the first principle. So if you talk about AI, you can easily think big on a long-term perspective. So next one, so employees want to have AI applied now, not tomorrow, better yesterday. So there's no doubt every single individual in a business scale would like to have AI for the better career, for the better performance from an individual perspective. So that's for sure. You can onboard with the right argument everyone. Thirdly, And that's by many good reports from Accenture to McKinsey and so on.
Okay, thank you so much. I will definitely tip you. Just
May you go, everyone goes on mute, please. Thanks. That helps. So if you start doing proof of concept use cases over use cases, you maybe miss the scaling possibility. So
sorry, hold on a second.
big thick
What'd you say?
means that you're really going into the world of, okay, I really scale this type of AI competitiveness instead of just doing little steps. So this is a big advantage and directly linked to the return of investment in AI by any kind. So, and this is just the downside of AI. If you make probability multiply probability by probability, I mean, that's actually what we're doing in AI, and doesn't give you any precise result. So keep in mind, you have to invest in control. Maybe that's if you are 80% less cost with AI, maybe you have to invest for the first time 80% for control. So the result has to be controlled. Otherwise, you will never have the right result. So keep in mind, AI is not a free lunch. So fifth is, and that's just a recent study from McKinsey. Unfortunately, our experience also in the market, if you are not mastering how to bring proof of concept out of this superficial world to the real business world, so in production, if you don't do this often, you fail also with AI project, as you have done failing also with other projects. So you have to mastering this transition between being in a test environment towards the real production environment. If you do this just once in a day, once in a year, you will fail. If you do this often in smaller pieces, you mastering this and you are a good piano player later on. So sixthly, and that's probably the reason why you're here, and it's highly overestimated right now what's going on with AI. But also on the other hand, as we have the law of Amara, also underestimate on the long term. And underestimate on the long term is probably why you're here to invest, because there is so much information asymmetric, and you, with the right vision, you know how to invest. So that's the whole point here. If we would have information as symmetric, you would not invest. So this curve is the reason why you should invest in AI, because you probably understand the long-term or the midterm impact of AI. So that's a really cool slide for an investor, because then you know there is something ongoing in a couple of years. And just for the people around, for corporates, so if you like to spend money for AI, don't do it. Not just because you like to spend money, but it's necessary. But better is to inhale AI. But we see a lot often that, okay, we spent 30 million in AI, but the result was not as expected. Yes, because money doesn't change anything. You have to inhale and bring it totally to the strategy and to the vision and to the leadership. Eighthly, and that's something just on the X here, we have the investor. So right, there is a lot of invest, left is not, we started to invest. And from bottom to top is to how we accept any application, any solution from a user experience. So there is a valley that you would not go through, is the worst. So as better we like to be like a human with AI, as more you have to invest. But there is, before we going to best, there's a worst. So you know this, you may If you have really something that should look like a human with AI, but there is some things in the face we are just saying, no, it's not really. So then you're already in the worst. Better is to invest just a bit and being good, and everyone can see, that's AI. It's not a human, it's AI, and you don't need to go to the best. So that's our quote for the startups. Don't beat for the best, go for good. So now it's come to invest, a global view. Nothing that surprised you, but what we have to repeat it. So there are three major regions in the world. No doubt that's US, massive invest on global ecosystem. They're creating this ecosystem. Without US, we wouldn't be here with AI overall. We would have a lot of research result, but not in the B2C sector as we have it right now. Everyone is interested, and the speed and the race, what we have here, is driven by US, no question. So a lot of investment in infrastructure, in this LLM, a lot of investment in startups, no question, and in services. In B2B as well also B2C. It's quite different in China, heavy government supported, not at all in US. And they are really good in computer power and focus on strategic important sectors. So it's quite different also from an outcome. But you see here, everything is strategic from a government perspective. But very good results, no question. But from a totally different approach from an investor perspective. Now it comes to Europe. Maybe we are the user and the regulator. And what is good, because then we have also a very close loop to how we solve problems with solution with AI. That's good. Researchers are strong here. As well also we are leading that innovative way to change SMEs. I mean, that's really good. So we are an SME region, and I think if we innovate them in a good way, we are better in the future. Of course, we're also a leader in ethical and AI frameworks around policy framing and so on. We know these terms, but I would not emphasize too much the real opportunities in the SMEs world. So what is behind the scene here? So three main trends. One is we see a huge shift from research from this kind of fancy stuff to the real stuff. So that's good. So we just didn't saw this 5 years ago, 4 years ago. It's a huge change, but okay, apply it, do it. There is a good application for all the sectors, especially for industry, finance, and mobility, and all healthcare a lot. So this shift is now really seeable. So it's here. You can apply things without research, put it this way. Then, of course, by bringing in ChatGPT and this LLM, and AI is not all about this, but it's exploding the market. And it's very hard to give advice how to invest in an exploding market. You have to have your own vision, otherwise you're probably not capable to make a general answer to this. So, but one thing is really relevant, even if it's a global market, it depends heavily on regional dependency, on regional rules, compliance, opportunities. So it's again here, there's a lot of information asymmetrics. What is good if it comes to investment and to be entrepreneurs and to be founders and to be different than other ones. So it's a best time to invest and being and finding your own business in this time. Much better than everything is already set in stone. So may a bit a deep dive to European Union. about position, challenges, and opportunity. I think too much we talk about challenges and missing a bit of opportunity in the market. But I think we have a good understanding here how we should apply AI. So we are heavily, as I mentioned already, user and SME focused. So this kind of applied AI. So we're probably not a researcher all the time, but applied AI is something that is leading here. So we know what is the difference between having just a solution and solving a problem. May you know the book from the founder of Waze. What is the name, Dalith, of the book?
Love, sorry, love the
Fall in love.
problem, not the solution.
Yeah, fall in love with the problem, not with the solution. Thanks, Dalith. So that's exactly happened here in Europe. I like it. So, and of course, we do have to focus on safety, data protection, and that could be and will be a competitive advantage. So I don't go through to all this, but we make a different business with AI than other regions, and I think that will lead, hope so, in the future for a strong market. So let's deep dive to Switzerland. I like Schweiz. And be a bit general here because you all professionals here and experts. But being on a very general level, I can bring this probably to 3 slides here. First and foremost, we do have nothing that we can bring to the GDP out of our grounds, or like gold or other nuggets. No, we don't have it. So everything is between our ears or our brain. And if we have the synapses combined with technology, that's help. So let's add AI and data overall to this technology as we had with electric, with mechanic, and so on in the past, to be really a leading nation in AI. So for this, we need really robust infrastructure. We have this always recognized globally by the Global Competitiveness Ranking. Good. Infrastructure means a lot. Infrastructure means not only highways and trains and the best energy grid, but also communication, data linkage, but also infrastructure like universities. And lately, last Sunday, also electronic ID. I think that's a kind of infrastructure that should be not appearing twice in Switzerland. So we need to be building up an infrastructure in any kind so that we are global leading also in this category later on. So, and lately here, we are at best innovation, not only as a global country, as a country overall, but also in different regions. What is good? So a couple of regions in Switzerland can really compare themselves to other regions in Europe. What is good? So I know that Switzerland is leading this, but even the region of Switzerland, that's really cool. So we keep going this, and I think AI will even put us on a better place here. Let's have an outlook to Agenda 2030. I would say we should not end up like this, guys, here. There is still waiting for something that is not coming. So in 2023, so 2 years ago, we posted this one here. So what do we believe is happening in 2025? So it will be to talk about AI agent. It is. So there will be a Wild West AI, a reality behind AI. We have it. Massive invest in LLM. We have it. The war of chips. We have it. And still the question, what comes after LLM? We don't have the answer right now. So this was 2023. Right now we have 2 slides already where we see some, not really precise forecast, but some things that should apply if we really want to have successful development of AIs. One is radical personalized AI. May I have our own one Dalith have an own one. You, every one of us here have an own AI agent. Maybe we will call this differently. For the sake of being capable to trust LLMs, maybe we need more this decentralized or sovereignty in LLMs infrastructure. We see a lot of movement going here. So this decentralized kind of or regional, national or sovereignty, large topic, huh? And some things we don't know how this will end up, but a kind of ecosystem of intelligence, a very funny topic. And as we have already the war in AI with chips, AI will become a pillar of foreign policy. We have this already by the two big players, but we see kind of movements also from smaller countries to use this as a foreign policy strategy. Everything is led a bit by the shortage of talent. So that will be a huge argument to bring in faster AI to the corporate organization, governments and so on. So the talent that has also to do some things with that we're getting older and so on. So some global trends. Next slide, next 5 topics about the age in 2023, 30, sorry. We'll have more from data center approach to AI. So that's a whole topic that we could talk here for a day. Okay, AI will enable totally new experience on a B2C level. And we can kind of imagine, because we got through the app situation in the early zero years of this century. So we know there can be quite fast a change in our user experience. So which are kind of anticipated already, that's going to happen. Of course, we're addressing climate change crisis with AI, no question. And this truly personalized medicine. So medicine overall will change dramatically. And that's cool on one hand, because it can reduce cost. On the other hand, we have truly also to trust the medicine from a humankind. Yeah, and latest here, scientific kind of how we research and so on will dramatically change and already on the way. So, but how we can trust afterwards the freedom of research and the university. Good topic. So I'm more or less over. I do have a last question. Here is an AI navigator. I will come back to this slide here, then you can download here the AI navigator. That's a practical leadership guide for leaders. There's a lot of tips in it, strategic tips, how you could navigate through this uncharted territory of AI. But before we do this, here is, so kick on again the next poll. In your view, what unique advantage does Switzerland offer in the field of AI? And don't bring ETH, because that's obvious. So we'd like to look beyond ETH and EPFL. So what is the real thing that is practically an advantage for Switzerland? May you bring it in. And with this, I hand it over to Dalith, and maybe deep dive in questions and so on.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for the insights, Andy, and thanks a lot to the audience for your comments and also the questions. And I think it's really nice how the discussion went on also in the chat. There is one question from Michael Moser. How can Switzerland leverage its strong research base and growing AI startup ecosystem to attract late-stage investments and compete with global AI hubs, given that 96% of its large funding rounds are currently led by foreign investors? So this is a question that we are being asked quite often. And before I hand over to you, Andy, I think one of the most important thing is what we love to say. It is time that we shift from a inherited culture into invest culture. And by saying that, it would help already a lot. But Andy, perhaps do you want to emphasize a bit more on this question?
So it's, yeah, first and foremost, it leads to the question why we are not Silicon Valley. And maybe we should ask someone from Silicon Valley why we are not Switzerland. So I hate this this kind of why we're not Silicon Valley. We can't change ourselves. We have certain principle that we are super strong. They can't just appear in the world crowd. But what we can really change is how we invest in the late seed or A round. So I think there, I'm pretty sure we will have a different world in a couple of years. I'm guessing in 2 years, there will be much more money in the Swiss market for startups, for ideas coming out of the research and based on our strong AI startup economy ecosystem, but we are not there. So we need to trust that the VCs from overseas and building up new VCs also here has to trust to the market, or we are not there. You have to know we likewise Israel, for example, we don't have the large market, so we need other advantage so that they investing in us as a corporate, as a startup.
Thank you. There is another question from Alain. Many AI startups focus on point solutions for specific tasks. At the same time, foundation models like Claude are becoming increasingly powerful and start to integrate these very functions. Now, the question is, how do we view the long-term differentiation of point solutions? And do you know investors who instead focus on approaches that think broader about AI efficiency gains, for example, around fair distribution and reshaping the future of work?
Okay, what a good question, Ale. I'm pretty sure that's opposite. So if we're talking with AI startups right now, it comes often the terms, yeah, actually we could do this also. Yeah, with this AI agent, we can do this and this. And it ends up kind of, we can do everything. Don't invest in this kind of people because they don't have the feeling, I know the problem. They have only the feeling, I have a solution. So it comes to the book from Uri from Ways, fall in love with the problem and not with the solution. If you are in love with a problem, then you don't jump just if you have the capability of a solution from one problem or from one market to the other market. So stay focused on solving a problem means you can solve this problem with technology, with culture, with processes, with leadership, but just give a solution to a problem. And this, what Ale described here, is more the opposite. So I would not invest. But I know this is often the case. We could do this also. We can do this also. So keep going with one specific market, with one specific problem, and know that this problem as best as you can.
Now we have another question from Catherine. She often hears that Switzerland is strong in early stage investments and less in later stages. Why is that? And especially given that we are a bit risk averse, it seems odd that we are more bullish on early stage investments, which has more unknowns.
If you really want to compare us with other ones, we often hear Israel is like a startup nation. but go into the result of success, and you would be a bit scared to invest there. And they're good companies, no question, if you're building up some money. But we are kind of opposite of this. So we really want to have success. We don't like to be failure culture. And it's hard to change this, but for an investor means also we keep going as best as we can. And may as an investor, you have to jump in and say, now it's finished, because may the founder will go in the rabbit hole and keep going. So there is a very good upside in this culture. So yeah, I know, as I already mentioned, we don't have the money right now for big investments for the later stages, but that will change.
I actually wouldn't say we don't have the money. This is why I
Oh
said,
yeah.
well, we should change from an inherited culture into investment culture. The money is here. I mean, the money is here on private equity side. It's also here in from a foundation association, institutional side. But what I would like also to emphasize on that point, and I think this is exactly what you're referring to, Catherine, that actually it's kind of not making any sense that we are risk averse and then we're investing in early stage and not in later stage where you have like more security. But obviously the early stage are like smaller budget. So there's more a little bit of this also gaming, this not having too much of a risk from a budget perspective. And what I hear often is that people then tell me, yeah, then they're going to wait and they're going to wait and they're going to wait and then I will come in. And then suddenly they see, well, now they could come in, but then the ratio is much higher and they would need to put much more money in. So I think that's very much a culture problem. And on the other side, what I'm missing a lot in our DNA here in Switzerland is being proud of each other, telling what people doing right, being proud of the solution, being proud of founders and co-founders of the startups, even if they do mistakes, even if they fail, instead of pointing to them, saying, how can we help? And this would also increase the security of the investors, especially also for, let's say, angel investors, saying, okay, let's do the first steps. And once we do the first steps, they will get more secure and might also go into later stages. So we have some more question from Joe. Can you expand on the types of industries expected to grow the most in the 2 to 5 years from the ripple boost effect of AI? For example, automotive, manufacturing, biotech, entertainment. Well, Andy, do you start or shall?
Yeah, I mean, already happened. The most exciting industry, let's put it this way, and also promising industry is healthcare. No doubt, there is a lot of problems to solve. I like this that we not creating new problems instead of solving them. And I'm pretty sure for all the better good, we have to invest a lot in healthcare. And on the other hand, there will be a large shift as we are started already with the consulting with the knowledge worker. It's hard to figure out how this shift ends. But from a leadership perspective, from a knowledge worker like medicine doctor, lawyer, and so on, to teachers and so on. So we will have quite a significant shift, and I'm guessing that I will have my own personal AI assistant beside me, and if I interview going to apply to a job, maybe once in a day, I apply together with my assistants. So the CV or representing me, and then I have my assistant, maybe by double price for my salary. So this kind of things will gonna change the world dramatically. I don't know how this will be structured and named and so on, but this will be relevant.
So let's go to the last question, and then I would like also to share with you the slides where you see the bubbles with the answers. From Manoy, what is your take on invest in founders? And yeah, well, to us, this is definitely one of the most important thing. It's a team. The idea, obviously, this is one thing, as Andy mentioned, especially we need to solve a problem that really exists here. But at the end of the day, what makes a startup successful is the team. If the team doesn't work, you can have the best ideas out there and you're not going to succeed. And at the end of the day, it's like technology. The problem is actually not the technology, it's the human being, our behavior, and how we can cope with each other and within the ecosystem.
Just to add here, and the team has to be performant by themselves. So it means they are not just willing to see, we are good friends together. We really can outperform each other. So this increasing of team performance has to be seeable for the investors and also for the better solution at the end. So it has to be a constant fight for the better in the team.
Okay, so let's have a look. In your view, what unique advantage does Switzerland offer in the field of AI?
I like the apparatus. Yeah. I like our own LLM. So good to have it here. That's, I mean, that's so new and it's already on top. That's cool.
Yeah, what actually goes together with education. Neutrality is definitely something that always puts us to a very good position, at least most of the time. Security and quality also, but on the quality side, at least if I may share my subjective view on that, sometimes it's probably better we go the 80-20 or even 70-30 to really push our ideas and startups. I think this is one of the things, if we talk about education, if we talk about infrastructure, stuff like that, quality is definitely very important. If we talk about health also. But there are a lot of ideas out there that, to my opinion, we should go push them, try and error. It's an iterative process. Every mistake is a learning again. And so on the quality side, I would say, not on the top of my list, at least. But we have some other things. What I'm personally a little bit, how do you say, erstaunt? No, I can't remember the word anymore. Surprised is that trust is not bigger. What is your take on that, Andy?
Maybe our 37 attendees are not enough in quantity to bring up the trust. But I mean, having neutrality, security, and quality means already trust for me. So that's maybe a overall topic here. It just came to my mind if you would ask a citizen around the globe, which country comes to my mind? If it's education first, neutrality first, security, quality first, maybe Switzerland would appear. So that's good. Yeah.
Okay. So saying that, we are within quality of time. It's 12:59. So thanks a lot for attending. Feel free to reach out to each other. Feel free to reach out to us. And we're looking very much forward for any further discussion. And happy weekend.
Thank you,
By the way,
AI Weeks, for having us.
Yeah, and by the way, if you want, subscribe to our newsletter if you haven't done it yet. So on Sunday morning, you're going to get more insights. So thanks a lot again to everyone. And thanks a lot for the AI Weeks.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Dalith, for this insightful talk. And leave your feedback in the questions that pop up. Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.